What up, peeps, and welcome into another edition of Trust the Tape with two of your favorite people. It might be called Trust the Tape. I'm kind of slow rolling into saying that to see if anybody sues me. But it's good to see you guys on Trust the Tape. My name is Jeff. And I'm joined by Super Bowl winning scout Bryan Broaddus.
Hey, Bri.
Hey, Bri.
Hey, Brian. Morning, Jeffrey. How we doing, sir?
I'm doing great. I love how much imperfection bothers Bryan. Like we've talked way too many times about not having watched Puka Nacua on tape.
Yeah.
And Bryan lamented it again before the show started. It's like, I've got to make sure that I see everyone. And sometimes you don't see everyone. And so we're working at it. I'm 60 guys in. I'm sure Bryan's probably 100 guys in. Mm-hmm. But we'll figure it out. We'll have this draft thing licked. I had a mock draft last night, Bryan. I loved it. I hated it. I hated it. I loved it. And I crushed it. I just need you to know that. That's all.
Who did you do a couple of rounds or just the one?
Oh, I can tell you.
Just do okay.
I can tell you.
Always interesting.
What I did was I traded down, and then I was so mad that I traded down because I lost all the first round players and I wasn't happy with anybody that I was about to pick. So I did what anybody would do and I traded down again.
Oh.
And then
made this thing even harder then is what you did, right?
I ended up picking 6 guys in 3 rounds. So I picked at number 24 overall, Marshall's Mike Green.
Oh, that's okay. There you go.
I saw
about real quick, if I could, about Mr. Green. Some of the fans love to send me mock drafts. Somebody selected him at 174. I thought that was a great pick.
That's a great pick. And that's the weird thing about, you know what? We're going to start today by me telling you something about how these things work because there's different mock draft machines that you can use.
Please do.
And you have to find
educate folk.
You have to find the balance when you're playing with these things between what's realistic and what's not. Because as I'll go through what I did last night, Bryan, you might tell me based on what you've seen, oh, there's no chance you can get that. There's no chance you can get that. Like Marshall's Mike Green, I think I'm very confident will be a top 50 pick, right?
Absolutely.
But too many people are going to do that with too many names. And I remember restarting simulations every time CeeDee Lamb made it to 17.
Oh no, there's absolutely that time. There's the CeeDee Lamb draft. You're absolutely right about that. But but I'm not getting Mike Green at 174. But I thought it was a great pick.
Yeah, but if you do, what a great job.
I'll tell you what, man, if I get Mike Green at 74, this is one of the deepest drafts I've ever been a part of.
Please hit the like and subscribe button while you're here and leave in the chat right this second. Who do you want to be the next head coach of the Cowboys and who do you want their first round pick to be? So my draft was 24 overall, Mike Green, 44 overall, Jahad Campbell, the Alabama linebacker, 53 overall, Tyler Booker, the Alabama guard.
Boy, you're cooking now.
76 overall, Derek Harmon, which that one, I don't think so, but also like Dane has him as a top 20 pick. Pro Football Focus thinks he's the 90th best player. And it's like, look, I'm not going to fight for you guys. I'm just going to pick him somewhere in the second or third if I'm allowed to, and we'll see.
Yeah.
85 overall, Quinshawn Judkins, the running back from Ohio State.
Boy, you're really cooking now.
And 97 overall, Wanye Thomas's little brother, the corner at Florida State, who I haven't watched yet, but I saw him in Dane's mock in the second round, and I said, look, I'm getting great value here, and I don't know any players anymore, so I'm going to take this corner. And I did not get CeeDee Lamb a running buddy, which made me feel bad, but what are you going to do? That just goes to show you how much the Cowboys need. I picked an edge rusher, a linebacker, a guard, a D tackle, a running back, and a corner, and everybody was like, but you didn't fill. And I'm like, but I got 6 of them. So the Cowboys got a lot of work to do, is what I'm telling you.
Yeah, was there when you got to 12, were you wiped out at receiver? Did you feel like that was so you just felt like that?
Back up.
Did you just? I'm just curious if you just did it because you have a history of wanting to collect picks, and did you trade away from some guy like the Ohio State receiver, or did you trade away from
Burden or Ibuka? I'm sure one of them was there, and one of my offensive linemen, I think, was there. And I think Genty was there too.
Where if I talked to you since about where you have Matthew Golden, receiver from Texas?
I have Matthew Golden as wide receiver 6 as a second round guy.
Okay, so you have him further on down. Okay, so then
if you count Travis Hunter as a wide receiver.
Right. Okay. Then if you don't, he's number 5.
He's
right?
number 5.
Okay. So you have how many first round wide receivers do you have? 3?
My wide receivers, Matthew Golden from Texas falls into my second group. Like
Do you have
my first rounders are
Williams?
Hunter, McMillan, Burden, Ibuka. My second rounders, and this is pick your flavor. I love Savion Williams. So my second
Yeah.
rounders are Savion Williams, Matthew Golden, and Elik Ayomanor, the
From
Stanford guy.
Stanford. Yeah.
That's
yeah.
my second group of guys. And I think Golden might be he may be the Vach guy of this group because I think Vach is trying to go safe in this draft. I think Golden might be the safest pick of those 3.
I went, Vach and I did a show. We talked about Golden and Williams and love them both. And I had, and then he had Golden over Williams, and so did I. But man, they're right there with the tech. He had Golden the first round.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So he had Golden the first round is where he had him, and I had him the top of the second round is where I had him. So I had three first round wide receivers. The next one, the next top one would be Golden, which would be number 4. So you just wanted to see how it would play if you traded back, because you're always curious about trading back and where it could take you.
Yeah, it makes me happy.
I think the Mike Green pick is at 24 is really, really good.
I went back to 21 and I got stuck, and I had lost because I had 3 or 4 guys I was hoping would make it, and none of them did.
I had to pick Mike Green. I had to pick Mike Green at 21.
Yeah, so then I was sad, and so I traded down again, and then I was looking through them, and I was sad again, and then I realized Pro Football Focus has Mike Green ranked like 60th, and I was like, oh, well, we're just going to take him. And so they gave me a D for my pick, because if you don't pick players they like, you made a bad pick.
Sure. It's okay.
But if you're out there and you're not familiar with the work of Mike Green at Marshall, get familiar.
Please do.
He's amazing. He is a 6'3", 245-pound, but he's stronger than that. Beat your ass pass rusher. Oh, he's good.
Transfer from Virginia. And so, if you're kind of having phobia about, small school, Marshall, this kind of thing, no, he started off, but he is legitimately everything that Jeff's talking about. I mean, he is as good looking of a player physically as you see when you watch him rush, the bend, ability to dip, all these things. Yeah.
If you now the thing is with the small school guys, my goal is always find them against the best competition I can. So I started to watch him against ULM, and I was like, that's not fair. And so I moved on, and I watched him against Ohio State.
There you go.
After I watched that game, we have access to people who know all of the players on planet Earth. And so I texted a friend of ours, and I said, just out of curiosity, can Ohio State's right tackle play a lick? Because he just got destroyed. And he was like, no, he can't. He's not even going to be a PFA. And I was like, damn it. So I still haven't seen him against a good player. So the Senior Bowl will matter, but Mike Green destroyed Ohio State's right tackle. Destroyed.
No, he's there's a lot of these guys that are going to show up at the Senior Bowl and have the type of, I'll give you an example, Jeff, and I don't know if you've seen this. You haven't seen Charles Grant from William and Mary, have you yet?
You don't think I've seen Charles Grant from William and Mary?
I'm just asking.
I have not seen Charles Grant from William and Mary. What position does he play?
He's an offensive tackle. Tackle.
I don't like them.
I know, but yeah. Here's another guy that's going to get an opportunity to play in the Senior Bowl, and that will tell you a lot about him as a player. And I think that will be really, really cool. But Charles Grant, offensive tackle, William and Mary is going to get. He is as good looking a player. The size, the length. It's William and Mary, and you're going to watch him play Virginia Military Institute. You're going to watch him play Richmond, but he's going to get an opportunity to block on some of the better college edge rushers in this draft coming up at the Senior Bowl. So you heard it here first. Charles Grant, Charles Grant, William and Mary. Yeah.
They have a bounce house in the end zone or what?
Man, what was I watching the other day that had
Hobart in?
Man, it was Hobart with the bounce house. What was I watching the other day that was pretty cool? They had a playground out. One of these teams I was watching had a playground out there. So you had kids were you had kids jumping around. It wasn't the bounce house, but the kids were doing that kid activities out there in the end zone. But unlike Hobart, they had it kind of fenced off where, you couldn't just like like catch a bass and then end up in the bounce house. You know,
Yeah,
it
it's
was
good.
kind of a fenced off area where you can go do all these things.
Safety
So
first. A couple
safety
people in the
first.
super chat. Please, if you're here for the algorithm purposes, hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We're 43 people away from 40,000. We're on the march to 40,000 subscribers. Robert Saleh as the coach.
Yeah.
First round pick, Emeka Ibuka or Luther Burden III. I do like where your head's at. I think you're doing good work over there, Shroyd. I appreciate you.
Do you think there's a chance that if Robert Saleh, okay, they're interviewing Robert Saleh. We've heard about Leslie Frazier is also he's with the Seahawks as assistant head coach. Does Robert Saleh interview make you feel like that maybe if he doesn't get an opportunity that the Joneses would try and push him as a defensive coordinator to whoever they hire? If it if it's Aaron Glenn, you're probably not going to do that.
Kellen Moore.
Or Jason Witten, something like that.
I could totally I could see it, and I think that would be smart and it would make sense. But my only thing is, I've got my brain and my gut feeling is that Robert Saleh is doing I'm going to go interview for head coaching gigs, and if I don't get one, dear 49ers, I'll see you in a second. Like they're just waiting for it.
Yeah, I kind of feel like though the 49ers though they're talking about Dennis Allen as a defensive coordinator there. They're also talking about the coach that was the interim at the Jets under Robert Saleh, Jeff Ulbrich. I always say his name wrong. Jeff Ulbrich, I think is what it is. Ulbrich. I think it's Ulbrich, I think is what it is.
Well, the defense got worse with him, so that sounds stupid.
So see, yeah, so that you wonder if Robert Saleh does he, the last like I say, Mike Zimmer did a fine job. I talked to Mike Zimmer myself, and I asked him. I said, "Hey, what's your situation?" He says, "If they offer me the head coaching job, I'll take it." If I
thought he wanted to go home.
No, that's what I'm saying. But no, he's not sure about the defensive coordinator job.
Okay,
but he'll take the head coaching job.
Okay,
and that makes sense. I mean, but I did ask him, and he said they would absolutely do that.
I want to let you guys know that I would as well. I think he probably has a better shot at it, but I am also open to the idea, and I promise to hire good coordinators because I don't know how to call plays. I couldn't give you a single play call from Abilene Christian in 05. I couldn't even remember the names of formations. I'd be a bad coach. Brian, do you think they'll talk to Gruden? His offense in 2020 and 2021 was good and modern despite lack of talent, and I like that he's a hard ass.
Yeah, John's one of my best friends. I talked to John the other day. Matter of fact, I asked John about about the situation, even when there was questions about Mike McCarthy's, situation. And he was like, listen, please, I don't really want to be a part of anything. Mike's got a job. Mike's a friend. I like Mike, that kind of thing. And then when Mike got relieved of his duties, he circled back, and, John is absolutely interested in the opportunity. He could talk to people. John's got a unique situation where he had something happen to him where he made a huge mistake. Those emails got leaked. I don't know if it's by the league, by somebody leaked these emails, and John made some pretty troubling comments in the emails. And, you wonder if that is going to be held over his head, him suing the NFL. Are people going to want to hire him? Or they want, if you hire John, are they going to bring back up the emails? There's a lot of things that I believe in second, third chances. I really do. I think a lot of us do. I think a lot of us that have, have some compassion for people. John and I go way, 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 way back to like when I first started in the league in 1992. John and I were both young coaches or he was a coach, I was personnel, but we were roughly the same age. We're friends. I feel bad for him. I feel bad he's out of a gig. He would welcome this job. He absolutely would. But do you wonder if those emails will be brought up again? And I don't think anybody wants to hear those emails again and talk about that. So that might be what limits John from getting an opportunity in the National Football League.
Vance is in the super chat. Has there ever been a good head coach who didn't draft a non-headache, non-injured great prospect because the player didn't fit their system?
Well,
you're talking about Rod Marinelli, hand on the ground, Taco Charlton over TJ Watt, or what? He wasn't the head coach, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that is kind of the topic that one of the things that let me get this one in real quick is draft Banks, play him at left tackle, move Guyton to right tackle. But then you're getting worse at right tackle on purpose, probably. I don't think he's better than Terrence Steele. And I want to cut Terrence Steele to save salary cap space, but I don't know if I can because I don't have enough good players to let him do that. But that last super chat goes to the point that you kind of wanted to get to today, which is when you get that head coach in place, how much say does he have in a draft room? And do they need to do this? And they do need to do this, I think, as quickly as they can, because you need to get ready for the Shrine Bowl, Senior Bowl, scouting circuit. What are we looking for? All of those things. Although I'm kind of opposed to it, pick the best players. Let the scout and pick the best players. If you can't coach the best players, your scheme sucks.
I told a coach one time, listen, man, I don't call third down defenses, so stay out of my room, right now. I'm going to stay out of your room. I ain't calling third down defenses, but I'll find you a guy that can stop somebody on third down. I think that, your scouts the scouts had an understanding going into the season that this was a possibility, that at the end of the year, they could be without a head coach. So you're prepping yourself for that. The situation you're now in is you've got maybe some players you gave a grade, what we'd call a 9. And a 9, with the Cowboy numbers, the lower the number, the better. So if you gave a player a 9, that's a player that's not for us, kind of a grade. So it's not
reject. F and play. Who wrote that?
Well, that was Ron Wolf one time. There was
absolutely the F not or
no. He said no effing way is what he said on a scout. One time, my boss in Green Bay, there was a center. It was center at North Carolina. Some of his Parsons, I think, was his name. And he goes, I got a scouting report. Ron Wolf wrote one of the most detailed scouting reports you could ever imagine. I mean, beautifully written scouting reports on every single player. And then this Parsons one came back from North Carolina and said, no effing way. That was all it said on the report. And I went, okay. I go, do you want me to type that in verbatim? And he goes, yeah, please do. So I'm like, we knew where that player was standing. But yeah, I think where you're at right now, you've got these players that you have not for us. So now you have to circle back just in case. You'll have an idea. The Joneses will get an idea of who they're going to interview, who they're potentially going to hire. The scouts will monitor that, and then they'll say, okay, this particular coach likes this style of player. This particular coach likes that style. So there's a reason why teams like the Steelers and the Ravens, those teams that have the same coaching staffs for 18, 17 years, there's a reason why that they have some success drafting because of the continuity. They don't have to go and, when you're changing coaches, not that Dallas changes coaches like, they change coaches every 5 to 8 to 10 years, but here it's a little bit different. They've had to do the coordinators. That's kind of been, but Zimmer comes in and says, whatever you bring me. But to the scouts' point of view, it is a little more difficult because now the players that they gave those not for us grades, if the parameters fit or the specifics fit, they have to go back. Now they've written reports on these guys. They just have to go back and incorporate them back.
9.
Yeah, put them back in the system. So a lot of checking of 9s. Yeah.
Just delete that. You guys should watch LaJonte Webster, wide receiver, Colorado. Curious on your thoughts. I've actually seen him a little bit. I don't have notes on him, but I remember I was watching Travis Hunter, and I'm like, who's this guy? And I think Webster was the little one.
Is he like number 5, something like that?
Let me see. Let me see if I made a single note on him because I knew that I hadn't seen his name in draft circles, but I was just watching and I was like, "Ooh, look at you!" And let's see if he's in here. Control F, Webster. Maybe not. Maybe I deleted. No, here we go. Came to Colorado for his 5th season, 3 years at FAU. Big numbers last 3 years. Slot only type for Colorado. Jumped out at me in the Cincinnati game watching Hunter. So it was like, hey, come back and watch him.
Is he number 5? What number was he wearing? Do you remember what he was wearing, Jeff?
He's like the only guy in the world I didn't put his effing jersey.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to ask that. Sometimes you ask.
No, because like below that, it's Isaiah Bond, number 7, Matthew Golden, number 2, Tet McMillan, number 4, Trey Harris, number 9.
Okay.
I didn't put his freaking number because I'm an idiot.
Okay. You're right. It's right. It's kind of like that deal when we used to watch the Florida State Miami game back in the day, and you're like, oh, you're watching a guy. Well, who's that number 97? And it's, oh, don't worry about him. He's a sophomore, but
Every time
Always-
somebody says Florida State, I miss Timmy Jernigan. Had bad knees, tough break. Oh, I love me some Timmy Jernigan on tape.
You did love you some Timmy Jernigan. I remember that very well.
KG, hola amigos. Are we excited for that new season of Severance? Never seen an episode. Is it good? Everybody says Severance is good. I've never seen it. Brian, you don't watch shows, do you? You just watch tape.
It's funny. I was able. What did I just get done with? Oh, geez. Well, The Penguin. I watched The Penguin.
Oh, Penguin was a good show.
Yeah, I got done with The Penguin. Was very, very good. The Landman looks interesting.
It does look interesting. I saw Jerry's little thing, and I do like
Jerry.
Billy Bob. And the trailer looked funny. It looked like Billy Bob was on the FaceTime with an ex-wife or something, and she was looking all hot. And he cussed at her. That seemed fun.
Oh, Jimmy Horn's number 5. Thank you very much, Adrian. I appreciate that. Okay, I knew I saw number 5 running routes out there. I didn't know.
I'll get his number. Sure,
no, it's okay. Don't worry about it. No. Don't worry
10.
about it.
He's 10.
10. Okay, there we go. Oh, there we go. Adrian did have that. He said 10. There we go.
He's their little guy. He's their little guy. I just saw him running out route, and I was like, who are you? And I looked him up, and that's the way things go sometimes.
Yeah.
All right, we can get to some questions from the people.
Yeah.
Let me see here. Questions from the people. Brian, would you rather have the combination of Ashton Genty and Matthew Golden? Oh, you're going to pick that because, Noel, you have him as a 2. Or Luther Burden and Travion Henderson?
I would like the first one, please.
That's a first-round running back and a top-of-the-second-round receiver versus a first-round receiver and a – where do I have Henderson? 3rd? Where do you have – Have you seen Travion Henderson?
Yeah, absolutely have. I mean, this group of running backs really, really extends. I mean,
that's why it's hard to take Genty.
Yeah. Oh, no, I understand. I could see – I mean, I think you have to give Genty his due and put him on the board where you would take him. Do I think the Cowboys would take him at 12? I think there's a possibility, but you could also convince me to take, you can convince me to take Johnson from Iowa, Hampton from North Carolina, Henderson from Ohio State, Scatterboo from Arizona State, Sampson from Tennessee, Harvey from Central Florida, Junkins from Ohio State, Neal from Kansas. You can convince me to take any one of those guys.
You watched Scatterboo?
I have.
I haven't studied him. Where'd you put him?
I put him in the 3rd round.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Now, they're going to give you – they don't have a verified height. I asked a couple of scouts about him. Verified height.
5'9".
He's going to be 5'9". He's going to be roughly the same size as Harvey from Central Florida, who is a really, really good football player.
I think they might be the 2 that I was looking at this the other day. They may be 1 and 2 in terms of broken tackle. No, it's Genty.
Genty's 1 and Harvey's 2. Yeah. I think I got that right.
Yeah.
Could I put it in my notes? Let me get to my notes.
I was looking at it yesterday because I was like, damn, this guy breaks a lot of tackles. And I looked at it and it was like, yep, 2nd behind guess who? Ashton Genty. But Scatterboo's got to be up there. Hold on. Position, halfbacks, Cam Scatterboo.
Oh, Scatterboo's way up there. Yeah, he's absolutely.
Missed tackles for Scatterboo's 2nd in the country behind Genty, which means, where's Harvey? Harvey is 14th. With 69. RJ Harvey's fun. But I'm not gonna. If you guys both love him, I'm probably gonna like him less than you do.
No, I mean I have him in the 3rd round. I mean,
me too.
This is where this is an interesting kid. He had 32 carries this season, where he gained 15 plus yards per carry. That was 2nd most in the country. And he's had 38 touchdowns the last 2 seasons. And so he can take small runs and make them big runs.
That's because he tries to make every small run a big run, Brian.
Have you seen, though, the scheme where they like carry him, they hand him the ball, they kind of walk the ball to him, and he stops. And then the next thing you know, you're thinking he's going to get trapped. And then, boop, he's through the hole, or boop, he's around the corner. He's a fun player. He's 5'9", he's 208 pounds is what we're working off right now.
Yep.
But I think there's a group of guys where you're going to have guys be with him in the backfield, kind of a thing. And so I think he's a hell of a player, man. Like I say, there's the 3rd round for running backs. Now Dallas needs to think about this, Jeff, and I think you did it. I think you did it in your mock. Didn't you just say you took a running back at?
Yeah, I took Quinshon Judkins from Ohio State in the 3rd round.
There you go.
And that's why the Genty thing gets tough, because I think you can just let this whole thing play out, and in the 3rd round look up and be like, which one we want, guys? And you'll have because I'm not done with this thing. Like I had people in the chat, like, what about Devin Neal at Kansas? And I'm like, I haven't seen him yet. I haven't seen.
No, he's a
Scatterby.
good
Like,
player. Yeah, he's good
there's a
players.
lot of dudes that could
Yeah.
be your starting running back, and
Yeah.
I do want an awesome one. So I will not be mad at the Cowboys if they take Genty. I'll just be like, I think we could have gotten a decent one or a good one in the third round.
Oh no,
we could have done something else here.
But that's the thing with the Cowboys that you have to be careful about, the way we kind of felt like, and maybe they knew something about this draft not taking one, or maybe it's accidentally it worked out for them this way.
Maybe they thought they had a 4th round pick still, and they forgot that they don't.
Well, they we kind of were like when they were talking about Maris, we were talking about Maris Leofau, where to take, they took some guys when you should have probably taken it back. They were taking other players, and you kind of wonder if they don't take Genty in the first. But I will say this, and I said it last night on when Vach and I were working together. I think every time you look into a round when we're working on the draft, you're going to get asked, who's the best player on the board?
Yep.
And your best player on the board is going to be a running back. I mean, it's going to be, I've got 3 names, and one of the names is going to be a running back every single time. It's that kind of draft with that kind of quality in the round.
Yeah, which is why we could just pick one later. We don't got to pick Genty.
But will Dallas do that? Will Dallas do that? That's the key. Will Dallas?
And I think the coach has something to do with that too, right? I think a defensive-minded head coach would be more likely to take Ashton Genty than an offense. Well, as a defensive-minded, you might think, oh, no, he's going to want to pick defense. But I also think of defensive-minded head coaches as we've got to control the ground. We've got to run the ball. We've got to do this.
Rod Marinelli did that. Rod Marinelli and Chris Richard did that. They didn't have a really good idea, what they wanted to do, with defense. There was the questions about, the corner from Florida State, whether to play him at safety or play him at corner, that draft with Zeke.
We could have drafted Jalen Ramsey and then Derrick Henry.
No, that's what I'm saying. You absolutely could. Yeah,
could've.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely could.
Could have.
Nope.
Do you have a pet cat yet? Do you have a guy that you're just like,
I was on, what was I on? Somebody asked me pet cat question, and this was probably 2 weeks ago. I said Mike Green from Marshall.
Oh, you can't have him. Did you give him a real first round grade?
No, he's in the 2nd round for me.
Okay, then I get to claim him because I put him all the way up.
No, you could claim him. I mean, like I said, Carter from, Michael Williams. I mean, these guys. I mean, when there's a group of really bendy edge rushers, and they're kind of like Green, Pierce, Kennard. They're all kind of in that group. The Ole Miss kid, the Boston College kid. They're kind of some bendy dudes in the 2nd, and then there's some like traditional, not bendy dudes that are playing in the 3rd.
Everyone at A&M, everyone at Ohio State.
You check out my guy at Louisville.
I've got him in the 2nd round. Yeah,
you got Gelate in the 2nd round.
I do.
Yeah, good for you.
You ready for comparing edge rankings? Well, I gave him a cheater grade. He's 2-3. First round, Abdul Carter, who's my number 1 overall prospect, ahead of Travis Hunter.
Oh, there you go.
Michael Williams, Georgia, is because he's like a combination, right? He is full size, and full strong, and kind of bendy.
6'5", 265.
Yeah, and he absolutely hadn't put it all together yet, and so I might be too high on him, but whatever.
No,
Mike Green at Marshall. 2nd round, James Pierce at Tennessee.
You're working well so far.
Princely, whatever, at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
And I actually put my next is the Ohio State, not Sawyer, but Tui Maloa.
Yeah, with JTT, something like that.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Yeah.
And then after him is Gelate, and then I threw all of the A&M kids together with Josiah Stewart and Jack Sawyer from Ohio State.
Yeah, you need to. Have you seen Kennard from South Carolina yet?
I have not.
Okay, make sure you take a peek at him, and make sure. Have you seen the Boston College kid?
Oh, I think I started to watch him because I remember he has a really long name that starts with like EZ or something.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't have.
I'm gonna trust me. I'm gonna learn these guys' names by the time we get draft here in like I think 98 days. We get to draft. I'll have these.
You won't
guys'
know
names.
him.
I won't. That's what Kyle Yeomans is for, and Nick Harris. Those. Yeah. So, but yeah, there's a bendy group in the 2nd round, and then there's a good run defending group in the 3rd. That's kind of how this thing looking. Yeah.
Those might go kind of. Edges tend to go quick though.
I'll tell you what. Let me be real. I think I'm going to project something here. I think these one technique defensive tackles are going to go real quick.
I mean, I've got
Dallas might start the run at 44. they might start the run, if not sooner.
Dude, if the first one makes it to 44, that would be awesome, and I would love that pick.
Well,
whether it's Grant at Michigan, whether it's Williams at Ohio State,
I'd love. Yeah, I went Grant in the second round. I went Grant, Williams, Harmon, Walker. Have you seen Walker?
I have the exact same order, except I actually have Nolan right in front of all of them.
Man, I have Nolan as a 3, and I'm not sure. This is a guy that I feel like that I'm gonna miss on the A&M defensive. The edges are giving me a little problem, and Nolan's giving me a problem from Ole Miss. I need to look at.
Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can give you the game. But the funny thing about, not that you need to know, but the thing about Nolan is like the good is so effing good.
Oh no!
And then it disappears. But I mean, yeah, my notes are just all over the place. Here's some. Have
you seen? I've got Nolan playing the 3 technique. I've got Sanders. Have you seen a young man named? I'm probably not. Have you seen Norm? It's a hyphenated name, Norman Lott.
No, I've not seen Tennessee guy, but I know there's a lot of people that like him.
Yeah, he's a good player.
I got a lot of stuff I got to do. I got a lot of people I got to watch. Hold on, we got a super I got to get to before we get out of here. Does Jerry even like Cowboy fans? He loves that they spend money. Yeah, Jerry loves the Cowboy fan.
Sure.
I think Jerry is mostly a good, empathetic, sweet human. I just think he's just not good at what he does. But I think that he's probably a nice person that we'd all enjoy hanging out with. And he'd be very sweet to you, and you would leave like, what a kindly old soul.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish that he didn't run the football team. That's all.
I'll say this about Jerry, and I worked for him for 14 years, in .com and then as a scout. The thing that I always knew about Jerry Jones that I appreciated was that he gives people the opportunity to have their opinion. I think that's a problem. I think that's a problem.
A little too much listening.
That's
because he shouldn't have the job, so he's got to ask a bunch of other people.
Well, you know what? When you don't, fake it till you make it kind of a thing. But when you're in a situation like he's in, he gets so much information, and to put it all together, I think is damn near impossible. And I think that hinders the way that they make decisions.
Yeah.
I hate it. I hate for the scouts over there when they make a pick and they get DeMarco Murray, and the scouts bust their ass to get the Oklahoma tape done, to get the leg work done, to get the workout done, to get everything done on the player. And Jerry stands up there and says, I'll tell you what, Barry Switzer told me this guy is going to be one of the best players, and you're, as a scout, you're kind of thinking, damn, how about all those days I went to Norman, Oklahoma, and asked about this and ran down that and all.
Hey, they got him right at least.
They absolutely did get him right. But the scouts got him right too. But I'm not saying it, but Jerry, the biggest problem is he's got guys like Bryan Broaddus in his organization that might not be helping him the best way that it needs. And Jerry Bill Parcells got rid of me because I fought Bill all the time. And I always took it personally when Bill tried to spend money on players that couldn't play.
Yeah.
And I think that's why the Joneses respect me for that. But there are times where you got guys and gals telling him stuff that isn't correct. And now he's making a decision on that. And I think if he would just say, F it, I'm closing my door and I'm going to make this decision, he would be far better off than soliciting my opinion or Barry Switzer's opinion or anybody else who has an opinion that he listens to.
Yeah. Get it together over there, Jerry. That's from me and Brian. Get it together over there, for crying out loud.
Hey, Brian.
Yeah.
All right, that'll do it for this edition of Trust the Tape, a.k.a. Is it the hot dog or is it the bun?
Now, this is a hot dog bun.
I think it's a hot dog, too.
Make sure you catch Brian on 105.3 The Fan, on with Vach Lombardi, on all over the place with Bobby Belt. Make sure you catch all of those things. Make sure you're tuned into the
draft show. We got the draft show. I got to go get ready for the draft show now.
Effing draft show's back on Cowboys.com. And I'm going to go to work now at the DLLS Cowboys.
Check
podcast.
that out, too. Yeah.
So have a great day, everybody. Remember, you have no idea what anyone's going through. So be cool.